Hey you guys, it's Andrea Olson with the Go Diaper Free podcast, and today I'm going to be recording episode, oh no, my phone's about to fall off, episode 149 of the podcast. So, what is the deal? Please subscribe, hit the like button, and I will let you know when the next episodes are up as well. But if you're into YouTube, here we go. This is the podcast. Welcome to the Go Diaper Free podcast, where we're all about helping you potty your baby as early as birth. I'm your host, Andrea Olson, author and mom of 5 babies, all EC'd from birth, all out of diapers by walking. It's amazing. This is episode 149. My baby hates sitting on the potty, but always pees easily outside. What should I do? You guys know that I also post my video to YouTube, or my podcast. I record myself and post it to YouTube. So please check out my channel. It's Go Diaper Free over at YouTube. I also have lots of how-to stuff. If you only listen to the podcast, you're missing half of it. Okay. So you can read the written version of today's show over at godiaperfree.com/149, where I'm going to link to everything that I mentioned in today's episode. I'll also reply to comments over there, questions as well, if you have any. So come on by when you're finished. So one of our readers has a very, very common issue with elimination communication, or EC. My baby hates sitting on the potty, but always pees outside easily. What should I do? So today we're going to answer her question. You guys ready? Question. So while at home, I've been peeing my son, now almost 11 months, in the bathtub since he was about 2 months old. Here's my question. For a while now, he's sometimes fine with this, but sometimes he really fights it. I know he needs to pee, but he won't go and he squirms to get away. I'll try distracting him with the mirror, tickling him, using a toy, anything. Sometimes it works, but not often. I'll try holding him by the toilet or the sink, and that's usually a no-go as well. If we stay inside, he'll eventually go on the floor if he has no diaper on. Sometimes while standing, sometimes while sitting. However, if I take him outside, it's much better for him, and he'll more reliably let go and pee and or poop. What is going on? We live in Ohio, so soon it will be too cold to be heading outside every time he refuses the tub. He hasn't liked sitting on a little potty or the Bjorn attachment for a full-size potty, which is a toilet seat reducer, which is another question, how to get help with transitioning him to that. My main burning question, though, this is it, is what can we do to help him pee inside, especially as it gets colder, let alone that the neighbors are probably extra weirded out by this. Love, Daria, in the U.S., in Ohio. And here's my answer, you guys. Okay, hey Daria, thanks again for asking this. It's almost as if we've time traveled and I'm the one writing about my first son, Kaiva. I can tell you from experience that I fully empathize, and I can tell you what I and others have done to get through it. So what's going on? So to answer your first question, what in the heck is going on? Why is your son totally fine pooping and peeing outside versus inside? One word, instincts. So not to compare us with dogs, but I will because it's a great example. But you know how crate training works, right? Dogs' instincts tell them not to soil their home, their den, or their bed space. And this happens right when the puppies are born. Our babies are born with a similar instinct to not soil their home, or their den, or their bed space. So when a baby is born, his immediate environment, which is the 12 inches or so that he can see in shadows and lights at first, is his home, his den, his bed space. As he wakes up to this world and begins to grow and crawl and creep and walk, his home expands to include everything indoors. So naturally, he'll feel more comfortable going potty outside. Not to mention how relaxing is nature. It's wonderfully relaxing. There's a cute little picture of my son over at the show notes at godiaperfree.com/149, going through his phase of only wanting to pee outdoors when we were luckily in Thailand, northern Thailand, where we could be outside all the time and he could be naked. Some babies, especially boys in my experience, just really, 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 really strongly prefer going to the bathroom outside. My first son used to crawl to the door and bang on it with his hand to be led onto the porch at 10 months old, where he could squat at the shoe rack and do his business. Actually 9 months old. Mind you, we didn't let him make this a habit, but it's a great example of instincts in action. In fact, babies in intact indigenous cultures, like I explained in a previous podcast, are finished with potty training when they can crawl and or walk outside to the potty space, farther and farther away from the house. This technique is practical and keeps the house clean. And that is episode, let me see. I'll have to figure that out. I'll put it in the show notes. Okay, I'll link directly to that episode that's about indigenous cultures. So our brain wiring, instinct-wise, is the same as it has been for thousands of years. We come in with the same set of basic hunter-gatherer instincts that our ancestors did. Of course, we have a lot more information and brain space and potential given our current culture and environment and what we've learned as a species so far. But if you read the scientific literature on instincts, we're pretty much the same at the core as we were back then. Thus, it makes sense that pottying outside is the path of least resistance with pottying a baby, right? Unfortunately, you will need to keep this from becoming a habit, as we pee in the bathrooms in our culture. Folks who do natural potty training by letting their kids be naked outdoors when they're 3 or 4 years old don't really end up teaching anything. But you can do a little bit differently with a plan. So how do you get him to begin peeing indoors more cooperatively? You might benefit from going ahead and pottying him outdoors for a few weeks, for no more than 6 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks total, and then slowly integrating the indoor pottying with an actual potty back into the picture. Meet him where he's at right now. Rebuild your confidence together by doing what works for now. And honestly, you guys, that applies to anything. Know that this trend will not last forever, which also applies to everything. And potty him outdoors till you guys get reconnected on all of this. So do what's working. Now, you are in charge. Just know this. You're the boss. You're in charge of when it transitions, when it ends altogether, when pottying outside is over. And you'll have to dress him for success in the meanwhile by putting him in chaps with a cloth diaper cover and a cover over them, by dressing him in long socks, leg warmers maybe, under the pants, by dressing him in split crotch pants with a cover worn over it or a sumo-style cloth diaper when you're in the house, or by dressing him in tiny trainers and a t-shirt. And you can see the links to all of these things in the show notes as well. Some folks even keep a potty outside and hold their babies over that potty, eventually getting him transitioned into sitting on it every time he goes outside while being outside with the potty. This last point is actually quite a great idea, but for some strong-willed babies like yours and like mine was, this piece might not actually work. But start slowly, and then about 3 weeks into it, start to turn the boat around gradually. At the end of the 4 to 6 weeks, firmly state and change your actions. You might not even have to say anything, but you want to express this idea to this. We are all done pottying outside. It's just too cold and big boys pee in the potty. Just like the parents, you will be peeing in the potty now. So that's the message. You can even have him start to go in the big toilet where daddy goes if that would make a difference. Use a toilet seat reducer over the big toilet and set him on it. Give several feet of space and turn your back to give privacy. And this is super important. You really need to study podcast episode 133 to learn how to give privacy in this specific way. This saves your EC practice. Trust me. And the link to that is over in the show notes, but it's godiaperfree.com/133. Hold steady on your course. Do it with an aligned front across mom and dad and caregivers, whoever is raising this baby. Be gentle, matter of fact, and do not overtalk. At the end of this transition, it'll be high time to set a firm boundary, which is also known as teaching or discipline. Welcome. You can do it, and maybe don't let him go outside for quite a while, unless it's a situation, after you're done, maybe don't let him go bathroom outdoors for quite a while, unless it's a situation where you have no other choice. So we want to change the course, but also say, all right, well, we're not going to do this for now. And don't say it. Just keep it to yourself. Don't overtalk. You don't need to tell them everything that's on your mind. We just won't be pottying outside after we transition indoors for a while. So there's some further reading that will help you transition back to indoors, and some of them are podcasts. There's a post on separation anxiety and refusing to sit, how to transition from in-arms holds to the potty, and resistance and peeing on the floor right after. So check those out. They're all linked in the show notes at godiaperfree.com/149. Now, furthermore, our community and the certified coaches I've hand-trained can help you personally in our private support forum if you're a book owner. We do have a Facebook group that's now open to non-book owners, but we have a private forum on our own network for book owners that's quite lively as well, and my certified coaches help you there. And that's it. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a wonderful question, Daria, and a timely one. I'm sure a lot of people listening today would love to have this information and have it work for them. I hope I've begun. I am tongue-tied today. I just hope that I've begun to help you figure out how to get him comfy, pottying back in the bathroom. Begun is the key word. This is the beginning of many, many things you have to tweak over the course of your baby's life. So enjoy it. Now, does anybody else have any other ideas on pottying outdoors versus indoors, experiences or stories? Please share them in the comments over at godiaperfree.com/149. And until next time, happy pottying, y'all. I'm Andrea Olson, and you've been listening to the Go Diaper Free podcast at godiaperfree.com. We'll see you next time. All right, that's it. I'm going to leave those tongue twists in and my whole camera thing. This is real life, IRL. You guys, subscribe, comment below. Tell me what challenges or ideas you have with pottying indoors versus outdoors, experiences, stories. We answer every one of them. So I will see you next time. Hit the bell and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care.